Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into Relmada Therapeutics' latest SEC filing. And let's just say they're giving us a glimpse under the hood, but are we looking at a shiny new engine or just a pile of spare parts? This is what's called a Form 8K, which is like a special bulletin from a company telling us about big news they can't wait to share. Think of it as their way of shouting their updates from the virtual rooftops. The big date here is August 7th, 2025. That's when the earliest event in this report happened, the day they decided to put out this particular announcement. The company we're looking at is Relmada Therapeutics. They're in the business of, well, therapeutics, which is a fancy word for treatments, likely in the healthcare or pharmaceutical space. Now, for those of you who watch the stock market, their common stock trades under the ticker symbol RLMD. You'll find it on the NASDAQ Capital Market. That ticker symbol is like their unique nickname on Wall Street. The main reason they're filing this 8K is to talk about their financial health and how they're doing. They've shared some results and an update on how the company is performing. So on August 7th, they released a statement giving us a peek at their performance for the 3 months ending June 30th, 2025. They call these results preliminary and unaudited, meaning they're not the final confirmed numbers yet. It's like getting a draft of a report before the final version is sent out. They also planned a call with investors and the public on that same day, August 7th. This is where they talk through the numbers and answer questions. Think of it as their chance to give the full story and address any confusion. Then we have item 701. This part is about something called Regulation FD, which is a rule designed to make sure that all investors, big and small, get the same important information at the same time. It stops companies from giving secret tips to just a few people. Here they're mentioning an update to their corporate presentation, and they're linking that to August 10th of the previous year, 2023. It's like they're saying, hey, remember that presentation we gave last year? We've updated it and you can find the new version attached. Finally, we get to the exhibits section. This is where they list all the supporting documents they're providing with this report. Exhibit 99.1 is the actual press release we've been talking about, the one from August 7th that contains all the juicy financial details and their corporate update. This is the core document they're sharing. And Exhibit 99.2 is that updated corporate presentation they mentioned. This usually gives a broader overview of the company, its strategy, and its progress presented in a more visual and digestible way than a dry press release. And the report is signed off by Sergio Traversa, the Chief Executive Officer. This is the person ultimately responsible for what the company reports. It's like the captain signing off on the ship's log. Alright, that's the structure of the filing. Now let's dig a bit deeper into what this actually means for Relmada Therapeutics. While this 8K focuses on a press release and a corporate presentation and doesn't contain detailed financial tables within itself, it points us to those crucial details. We have to infer the results from what they're announcing. What's important to understand about Relmada is that the healthcare and biotech industries, especially those focused on developing new treatments, are very high risk, high reward ventures. Companies like this can spend years and millions of dollars on research and development, and there's no guarantee their treatments will ever make it to market or be successful. Their financial results often reflect the stage of their development pipeline. When they're reporting results for a quarter, we want to know if they're making progress toward their goals, if they have enough money to keep going, and if their treatments are showing promise. The press release they're referencing, Exhibit 99.1, would contain the actual financial numbers. Since we don't have the full press release text here, we're working with the announcement of financial results. This usually means they're talking about revenue, expenses, and their net income or loss for the period. For a biotech company in development, it's common to see losses because research and development costs are very high, and they might not have any products generating revenue yet. The key is whether these losses are manageable and if they are trending towards profitability as their treatments advance. The corporate presentation, Exhibit 99.2, would likely highlight their key drug candidates, the diseases they aim to treat, the market potential for those drugs, and any recent clinical trial results. This is where they paint a picture of their future success. When looking at these presentations, we want to see strong clinical data that suggests their drugs are effective and safe. We also look at the size of the markets they're targeting. If they're developing a treatment for a rare disease, the market might be smaller, but if it's for a common condition like diabetes or Alzheimer's, the potential upside is huge. A key figure to look out for in their financial updates, which would be in that press release, is their cash burn rate. This is how much money they spend each month. Biotech companies need a lot of cash to operate, so investors closely watch how long their cash supply will last. If they have a substantial amount of cash but are burning through it quickly with little progress to show, that's a red flag. On the other hand, if they're burning cash but making significant strides in their research, that can be a positive sign. We also want to see how they manage their expenses. Are their research and development costs reasonable for the stage of their projects? Are their administrative costs also under control? Efficiency in spending is crucial, especially when you might not have revenue to offset those costs for a while. Now, let's think about the broader implications. Relmada's focus is on developing novel treatments, likely for conditions affecting the central nervous system, given typical biotech pipelines. Success in this area is incredibly difficult. Many promising drugs fail in clinical trials due to lack of efficacy or safety concerns, so any positive news from their clinical trials discussed in the presentation or any mention of regulatory progress would be highly significant. Conversely, any hint of setbacks or delays in their development timeline would be a major concern. We can also look at the broader industry trends. The pharmaceutical and biotech sectors are constantly evolving. New scientific discoveries can create opportunities, while regulatory changes or increased competition can pose challenges. Information about Relmada's competitors or the overall market landscape for their specific therapeutic areas, perhaps hinted at in the corporate presentation, would provide valuable context. To summarize, while this specific 8K filing doesn't give us a detailed financial statement, it directs us to the sources that do. It tells us Relmada Therapeutics is actively communicating its progress with the market. To truly understand their financial health and future prospects, we'd need to examine the press release and corporate presentation mentioned. We'd be looking for signs of promising drug development, a manageable cash burn rate, and efficient operations. Looking at companies like Relmada, the primary indicator of future success is the progress of their drug pipeline. If their clinical trials are showing positive results and they are moving through the regulatory approval process efficiently, then the financial losses reported are a sign of investment in future growth. However, if their pipeline is stalled or showing discouraging results, then those losses are simply an indicator of a business that is not viable. It's a balancing act between investing in long-term potential and managing immediate financial sustainability. Now, looking at these filings generally, Relmada, like many biotech companies, operates in a world where a single breakthrough can lead to massive value creation, but a pipeline stumble can be devastating. The key risks for a company at this stage would be the success and timing of their clinical trials, their ability to secure further funding if needed, and the competitive landscape for their therapeutic targets. Opportunities lie in the unmet medical needs their drugs aim to address and the potential for significant market penetration if successful. In conclusion, Relmada Therapeutics is making its regular public disclosures, hinting at solid progress in their reporting of financial results and corporate updates. For investors or those interested in the biotech sector, the critical next step is to review the reference press release and corporate presentation to see the actual numbers and the detailed narrative of their development journey. Keep an eye on their clinical trial progress and cash reserves as the primary indicators of their health and potential. Alright, that's our breakdown of Relmada Therapeutics' latest filing. What's your take on these announcements and what they might mean for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives into corporate filings. Don't forget to check out our Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.